She was always very smart. She's a very smart girl. Very happy, loved dancing and singing. I mean, I still have her playlist. And when I'm alone, I can still hear her singing. She went to buy ice cream at the boardwalk. And she disappeared from there, from the boardwalk.
Hey, what's up? It's iCkEdMeL. Thank you for stopping by the channel. And this video is mostly going to be about Yesenia and a conversation that I had with her mother. She was nice enough to come on. It's an audio conversation over the phone. Her daughter went missing in 2010, October 14th, 10, almost 11 years ago in Hollywood, Florida, which is where we covered Noemi, and close to where we covered Sophie Reeder. She went missing in, I think, 2017 or May 20th, 2017. And so the topic and conversation of missing women around Florida, South Florida specifically, but sometimes even north, and Hollywood Beach, the boardwalk, Fort Lauderdale, that topic has been coming up more, and people have been digging back into the past. Before we get started, there's a couple of notes and tidbits, kind of big things that are happening that have been rumbling behind the scenes. So with Sophie Reeder, you guys, the people that have been following me and subscribed, you know that I've been covering her for a little bit since 2019 and recently 2020, and some update videos, and we did a live stream. I'll put the playlist down below. Definitely go and check that out, because there's video footage of this woman, or girl at the time, 15 years old, going missing, and nobody knows what happened to her. Now, there is a show, called In Pursuit the Missing. They're debuting Sophie Reeder and Lauren DeMolo coming up this next week on a Monday, March 8th. It's premiering on like the Investigation Discovery channel, which is dope. So people that are members on my channel, definitely check out for a video tonight. I believe I'm going to put out a video tonight. I'm going to show you something kind of cool with regards to Sophie Reeder. But that's kind of big, because there's people in big networks kind of starting to pay attention, and I've had people reach out to me that I haven't spoken about publicly, interested in some of the stories that I covered. Like, for example, the Sophie Reeder, I'm talking to a private investigator. We've been kind of going back and forth a little bit. Hopefully something soon, maybe I can get him to come on and we can talk about Sophie Reeder. But there is an episode airing, so stay tuned for that. She's still missing, and the mother and the father and all the things that were going on, you have to check out those videos. Now, with Veronica Reyes Diaz, I was talking to somebody that's in a network, 100% accredited. They were working on a story. I gave them the contacts. They watched the interview that I did with the father, Findencio, the family. And some of these other videos, it's kind of gained attention. And that's really one of the goals that I have on this channel, really, for stories that aren't getting attention, stories that are being overlooked. If I can come in and try to bring some attention and other people get eyes on it, and people that are connected, networks, whoever, can help spread the story. So there was something that was supposed to come out with that. I got to reach out back to the person. I don't know what happened with that. And so hopefully we can just keep their faces and their names relevant and going through the internet. And of course there's Layla Cavett, which we're waiting on the Shannon Ryan next court date. It's been pushed back a couple of times. Another South Florida local story, which people believe Shannon Ryan had something to do with that, though from the indications it doesn't look like they have enough proof or evidence, because Layla still hasn't been found, and it seems like there's still some missing pieces of that puzzle. So with that, I just want to thank you guys for all the support on the channel. I really appreciate it. Please hit like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. I do all the editing and work myself, and I reach out to people, and some people sometimes are kind enough to respond and come on. I don't pay people, and they don't pay me to come on the channel. I recorded this whole thing. I could, if you want, I can leave the stuff out, like with the.
Oh, that part you could leave it out. But anything else, you have the freedom to do so. These people they're shady. There's something going on, and and girls are vanishing left and right, and then nobody's doing anything about it. Something has to give.
So can you take me a little bit back to the beginning? Because what happened that day? Okay, because it says here October 14 was the last time she was seen.
So what happened was she was with my niece and my nephew, and they went to the beach. My sister-in-law had dropped them off. I thought, and she called me. She said, "Can I go, Mom? Because I don't want to stay here in the house alone." I'm like, "I don't want you to go if I'm not present. I really don't want you. I have like this fear about the beach. because we went through something like that when I was a kid with my baby brother, and my mother went frantic in Coney Island. He got lost in Coney Island Beach. So that has left like a thing, a stigma, and I grew up with that. And I'm like, if I'm not there, I don't want you to go. Please, please, please. You're just gonna drop me off. I'm not gonna be alone. Blah blah. Okay, fine. I said, okay, go ahead, and then let me know when you guys come back. And she told me, Auntie Johanna, she's gonna drop us. She's gonna pick us up. She's not gonna leave right away. She's gonna stay there, and then she'll pick us up. And I'm like, okay. I don't know what happened, what transpired. I know they were playing volleyball. My niece told me they were playing volleyball, and my daughter she's an ice cream fiend. She loves ice cream, so she wanted to get ice cream at the boardwalk. She didn't have any money, so she says, Edie, can you give me like, $5 or $10? I don't know how much it is over there. It probably is expensive. And she went to get the ice cream. She says, that's the last we saw of her. When we noticed that it was getting like dusky, and I know Mom was gonna come and pick us up, and I'm like, where's Yesenia? Why isn't she here? Because they were busy playing. It was my nephew, some college friends, they were all in a group playing. They didn't notice that so much time had gone by and Yesenia had not returned.
Wow. You don't remember the name of the ice cream shop, right? No, we were talking.
No,
okay.
No. And I don't know what the name of it is now. I know that people go there, they serve food too, I think they serve food there as well. I think the thing is that one thing that the detective did, the one that I was just telling you, was that he actually had whoever works for him go there and scavenge the place and ask questions about that camera. This camera's right there in the corner. And then he said, okay, so I have access to it via online. And he showed me, see where the camera is? That camera is a new owner. And he says that that should keep it there as a deterrent. What kills me is that why didn't the police officers request that?
So there was nothing on the camera?
We don't know if there was anything in the camera then. The new owner now, because now it's a new owner at that place. And he told them in 2018 it was in 2018 that he told the detective that camera is used as a deterrent. People think it's running, but it really doesn't have.
So back then.
My question is, exactly, back then, why didn't they ask for it?
So they didn't do that back then? They didn't request to see the camera?
I don't think they did, no.
Okay.
I don't even think they went to see the place that she actually went missing.
Wow.
I really feel that deep down. I mean, I had to befriend myself with some police officers to see how they run things. Kind of like, you find out where they eat, they have lunch and stuff like that. And I found a place in off West Dixie Highway. There's a kiosk. And they like to go there, like a couple of them, and a whole group of them. They take like 3 tables and they eat. They have their coffee and stuff like that. And I started hanging out there for a little bit just to get, to see how they work and befriend them. And I befriended one who was actually a detective. And he told me, you have no idea how many cases we have. And he was the one who told me, he broke it down to me. Every so often in Hollywood, there's prostitution. When they see young girls, he said, especially young girls, look at you girls. Yes, she's good looking. He said, they look at girls that look like, they might look like they're either lost or confused or easy prey, he said. Like she looks like somebody who's easy prey. I'm looking at her picture right now. And what they do is they take these girls and either they lure them or something. They ask them a question and, they can cover their mouth or anything like that with whatever they may have and take her, place her in the car and leave with her. In this instance, I'm going to tell you that right now, presently, this was in when was I speaking to the police officer? This was in 20.
She was 19 when she went missing. She would be 30 now.
Yes, she's the same age as my niece now. My niece. We were talking about her not too long ago also. Let me see. My niece turns 30 in May. Yeah. So anyway, so trying to think, this was in 2012 or 2013. I think it was 2012 or 2011. Between 2011 and 2012, he was telling me that they were working on busting a ring, but it was just very hard. He couldn't know which bus was which because they have buses, tourist buses. And they didn't know what, they didn't want to go and like raid it, but they have a suspicion that they're using like one of these tourist buses. You think it's a tourist, and they park themselves by the beach. That's what he told me. And that they will lure them and drug them up, immediately drug them up. They already have like a syringe, immediately drug them up. And he's telling me all the process. And they take them in and they use them like, men will go in and out of the bus and they use them as
Let me ask you this. Because I was reading, there's really barely any coverage online. That's what I was kind of like, wow, this really didn't get any attention, barely any, compared to a lot of the stories that I've seen. And so what I was wondering too, I read in the NamUs, and I think there was another site that it said that supposedly she had just broken up with her boyfriend. Was that true?
Yes, she did. And he was interviewed many times.
Oh, he was. Okay.
And he even called me before he left because his father had passed away, so he was moving with his mother to Texas. But I found it very strange that he even sent me an email saying that he doesn't understand why I would feel that he had anything to do with it. I said, because you guys had a big fight. You guys had a big fight. And I remember that she was heartbroken and she couldn't take it, So
that's interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
And
yeah.
So he's been interviewed multiple times. Because the thing is too, because that area I know it very well. I don't know what it was like in 2010. I mean, even in 2010, it's a pretty kind of busy area. I would almost think at that time you'd have to be like somebody or somebody to lure you a little bit away. Or I mean, it's possible somebody could have just tried to talk to and befriend her maybe. But
well, he was telling me that she had this habit that he used to get very upset when they would go out. He said, I want to tell you something. This habit that she had that I used to tell her, don't do that. You don't know why they're calling you over. You have no idea what their intentions are. She goes, no, they just wanted to know how to get to one place to another. And if I know, I'll show them whatever. She says, you don't know what you're showing them, what they can be doing to you. So if somebody will call, like, oh, can I talk to you? She'll go like, okay, like she didn't think they were going to harm her.
Right.
And I said, I don't think she would do it. He says, yeah, she did that a couple of times in front of me, and I told her, don't do that. And, eventually I told the guy, I said, yo, what do you want? Ask me, don't ask her.
And you don't feel she ran away, right? You feel something happened.
Something. Yes. Right. Yes. Right. Oh, yes.
And what's the deal with her father? And so the father, as far as
he's how could I say, narcissistic. He doesn't have that he doesn't worry about her as much as I doesn't care. I mean, if your child is missing, you will do everything possible.
Right. Of course.
You just don't go on without life like nothing. And the relationship wasn't really good there either. That's why I suspected about him, because he also had a disagreement with her. Because he tried, one thing I never did was speak bad about him. I never did that. I always placed him, like, oh, he's busy, because he needed to rectify the situation between the relationship of father and daughter. That was not my place to do that. So I always kept him in a clear light. So she didn't have any judgment thoughts about him or anything like that. He did. He would talk bad about me, and she didn't like it. I think it blew up, and she was very upset with him. And she said, "How dare you, like talk about my mom like just a lot of." She was only 16 then. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the relationship was very rocky. She was eager to get to know him better because he kept himself away a lot, doing other things. So I said, you divorced me, you didn't divorce the child, but that's how they usually act.
Right.
So when she started asking more questions, no, Mom, I really want to. Okay, so he started like little by little being part of her life, and then he would just disappear. And, so now by the time she was 16, they started having that relationship, trying to teach her how to drive. But when he would hit that note, he had no right to bring me in the conversation. If you're with your daughter, it's you and your daughter. That's it. It has nothing to do with me. And that would be a touchy issue for her. And also the fact, another thing that really bothered her was that he would never present her as, "This is my daughter," whatever, like a loving father, I know. He would say, "This is the other one from my first marriage."
Wow.
Now, maybe she's a kid, but when you have a 16-year-old and you're saying that, what do you think they're going to think about you?
Right, of course.
Okay. And, being a teenager already has its own little world, its own little world of complications and problems, and then you're adding more.
Let me ask you, so you haven't heard nothing ever since that day from her? Just completely gone?
Nothing. The last conversation I have with my daughter was, "Mommy, please, please, please let me go. I don't want to be here in the house alone with Thea. I want to go with them and have fun. I haven't had any fun." I'm like, "You know how I feel about you going to the beach? If I'm not there, ain't nobody going to the beach, girl." She goes, "No, Mom, please." She begged me. I said, "Okay."
The thing too, is it Namus or Namus? Namus?
I call it Namus for whatever reason. I don't know, but it's Namus. Yeah. I mean,
I see that the case was created on there like in 2013. Why did it like years after?
Exactly. Again, this had to do with, I guess, the way they handled it at the police department. Because I didn't know that existed. I didn't know anything about that. I just thought the Hollywood Police Department, they're going to help you. But as much as I started learning about them and how they deal with certain cases, I'm like, oh my God. And the one that comes to light that this man became famous, John Walsh, was because of his kid. It stemmed from that police department, Hollywood. It has a bad stigma. Instead of paying attention that this kid was just taken just like that, all she did was turn around and he was gone. In the mall. I don't know if you remember that story. If you read that story about how he disappeared.
Yeah. Well, wasn't he like at a mall or something, I think, right?
Yeah, with his mom. With his mom, yeah.
Wow.
She had the baby and she had him. She had and they just, and I think that's not the only case that got national attention. Listen, they can get anybody really upset if you have a situation and they're not helping you. And then when you're trying to go to the head chief, it's like, you can't. You always have a roadblock. Either you get the receptionist or you get the lieutenant. I'm like, oh, I said, no, I need to speak to the chief. Or maybe I should go to the governor. Or maybe I should go to an attorney. Maybe I should get a lawyer on this. Yeah. And then we had National Centers for Missing. They usually have retired marshals, who get interested in all this. Because they're very good at finding people. Right?
Yeah. Did you ever get like a private investigator too or anything like that? Or?
Yes, his name was Michael Moran.
Oh, okay.
And he was a retired marshal.
Oh, okay.
Marshal. And he got involved, but then they pulled him away for something else. Then that didn't happen. That disappeared. Nothing happened. And I'm like, I don't understand. I have every email. One of the things I'm good at is saving everything. I can have a conversation with them, but then after that, you're going to text me, you're going to message me, email, because I archive everything.
Okay.
And how long it takes them to reply. They'll see, well, why did it take him like 6 months to talk to you, to reply to you? Where were you? Where were you for 2 months after Mr. Rosario, So I keep everything archived. I never heard from him again. And then I was told by national censors was that he was pulled away for other things. Remember, they volunteer. They keep telling me, remember, they volunteer their time. They really don't have to, they really don't have to do this.
Mm.
So I'm saying, okay, if you volunteer your time, you're making the person that you're volunteering your time to, they need to bow at you all the time. What is it? What is it? If I'm giving my time to help for a cause, I need to make sure I'm there 100%.
Right.
But don't do it at all, because this is a life. You have lives in your hands when you do that, when you deal with this type of work.
Man, that's horrible. I can't believe it's, it's scary too.
Look, you don't understand.
I mean,
I am able to talk to you right now because I have to be. If I would have stayed there, I would have not. You would not be talking to me right now. That's how distraught I was.
It's so bizarre too. Just like so little information. There's really been no updates, huh? So there was like really never no update, no lead, no like
nothing.
Because let me see, there was a girl too that went missing in Fort Lauderdale. I'm trying to remember what year it was. Her name was Sophie Reeder. She left her house, like she snuck out at night, but she was like seen on a camera. They were able to pull up a camera and stuff, and they could at least see one of the roads she was walking down. She was never seen again. But even with her, she went missing in 2017. Even with her, there was something you can kind of at least see or something. And I don't know if somebody just took advantage of her. But with Yesenia, there's nothing. On a beach that is very busy.
Very busy.
Even now more so, but even back then, it was very busy. It's popular. People go there, family, friends, restaurants.
But I think now they have more cameras.
Now there's more cameras. Yeah, for sure.
Before there wasn't any, and then I was told, what did he say to us? He said, if the person who, because this is what we have to know, if the person that took your daughter, or the persons that took your daughter, they know that she's being looked for, they're going to take her across state lines. They're going to extradite her from Miami. They're going to drug her up, and when she wakes up, she's going to be in another state somewhere else.
Wow.
So now they have all kinds of cameras all over the place because of all this stuff. But back then, there wasn't that many cameras.
And even now, with all the cameras, people are still just disappearing.
Yeah, but at least they can trace them. Like I was told, there was a. I don't know if there's a bank around there still. There was a bank, and the same week that Yesenia disappeared, they had taken someone else. I was told, another girl, but she was 21 or 22, and the last footage they saw of her was like it was a car. And they kind of lured her in the car, and maybe they had her, like, either had a gun or something to her. The guy got out of the car with her and made her pull money out of the ATM machine.
Wow.
They did find her, but they found her dead.
Oh, she was dead. Oh, my God.
That's what he told me. Yeah, this is a police officer telling me.
So
she was Jewish. I don't know. So that's what happened. She went to the boardwalk, and from then it's been hell on.
That's what it seems like. Can you hear me? Okay. Oh, I think I lost you for a second. Yeah. You said, from there on, it's been kind of just hell. No answers, no like nothing, hell. No leads.
Nothing.
Wow. And the DNA thing, the sample was wrong. Like, or they lost it. You said they lost the first.
They lost it, and I had to do it again. And I said, okay, you lost it, really? That's incredible, because they send you all that. It's all prepackaged with stuff.
Okay.
It comes from the police department. It's very hard to lose something like that. You take it to the post office. You know what I'm saying? You put everything in there. Everything is sterile, and it's encased in their envelope, like it says police. $2. And you take it to the post office, and you tell me that you lost it with your own label, really? So.
Did she have a cell phone?
I did it.
Yesenia, at that time?
No. At that time, no. I had her cell phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And your niece that was there with her, didn't see nothing.
No, they were like,
They
you
were
let
on the
her go
beach
to, I
playing.
mean, they're at
Like
the
they were
beach.
playing. Yeah, right.
These
And
are
she
young
walked
kids in the
off.
teens.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. And she walked off to get ice cream. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, Janie. Well, I guess thank you so much. I just I just wanted to kind of get you on and hear a little bit of the story from your, because that the only thing I could see online was that one video clip from the missing and exploited, and then I started seeing, like, looking at other stories of missing people, and I was like, I wonder if there's like a pattern or something going on.
There's a pattern.
with
Something's
these
going
missing
on,
kids, teenagers, and stuff.
something. And the thing is, that beach, I don't know. I never really been to that. I think I went once. I don't remember. I'm not much of a beach person. I was told that there were a lot of prostitutes around there. Like they had a ring, like a pimp, or like they had like a little organization where they had these girls.
Wow.
And sometimes they keep them well hidden. I mean, look at these girls that they kept buried under, how many years? 10, 15, I don't know. Now that I spoke to you, I feel like calling. His name is Anthony Waltermeyer. He's the one on my case from National Centers. And they're working out of the house now. They're working from home now. He says, you know what they want to do with Yesenia's case? He says they want to close it. I'm not gonna let them do it. I'm staying with her case. He says this has been something utterly amazing. Nothing. Like, it's like the earth opened up and swallowed her.
I remember when you were saying that. That's just so wild to me too, that somebody can completely disappear like that. And then especially now with all the technology we have now. I know this was in 2010, but still, they have her DNA, and I don't know, be able to track something, some sort, her name pop up somewhere or something, and nothing.
Yeah, so that's where we are right now.
Oh yeah, I'm really sorry for what you're going through. I mean, I can't imagine. I have a little girl myself. She's 4, so I just, you never know at any moment.
We don't want to, how would I say, think the worst, or be so overprotective that we suck the life out of our children.
Right.
We got evil people out there. Let me tell you, there's some sick and evil people running the land, and they don't care who they hurt and how they do it. If you know this comedian Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, I heard him.
He was saying, he says, on a serious note, after he did all his jokes, he says, every time my kids, I have 2 beautiful children, every time they walk out that door, my heart, he says, it's like it beats so fast, I just want to escape out of my chest, because I don't know if I'm going to see them again, if they're going to come back, because there's so much happening out there. Even though we tell our kids, we prepare them, be careful out there, if this happens, blah, blah. He said, but we have to let them go, right? But my heart, and it's a serious matter. No parent should feel that they have to shackle their kids. Just take them with them wherever they go. They should be able to say, okay, go, or keep a track on them all the time because of all the things that are happening out there. So she's a very caring child. She's very giving. Like, if you ask her for help or anything like that, she's very willing to help. She loves children. She loves animals. She loves dogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a dog lover. Yeah. Very tall. Very big heart.
Yeah, I see all her pictures. That's posted here throughout the. And I see they did a facial recreation, I guess. What she might look like.
That what she might look like. And me and my family were like, you know what? I have to have other people look at it because I'm very emotionally attached to this. And I said this would not be, because in my family we kind of our looks don't change that much. And I gave him a picture of myself, my mom, and he wanted a picture of everybody, see how they were progressively aging. They wanted one when I was 20. I gave it to them as well.
Oh.
And they said, well, she looks more like you. So I'm like, yeah, but if that's the case, we don't change that much. Okay. So my family didn't like it. Even some friends. She has some friends that they contact me on January 5th for her birthday. Always to say, kids that she went to school with, that they still call me mommy, and I think one of them says, Mom, how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. She says, anything about my friend? I'm like, no, nothing about your friend. Today's her birthday. I'm like, yeah, today's her birthday.
And none of her friends have heard anything from her either since that time.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I never heard of
this
story. I never heard of Yesenia.
Never?
Until this whole situation with Noemi, people started mentioning your daughter's name to me. And like, oh, you should check it out. Have you ever heard of her? And I was like, no, I never heard of her. And she's like, she went missing right there on the boardwalk. You know?
Yep. And not only that, the police officers will tell us, well, usually if she drowned, we would have found her body, blah, blah, blah. So that was questioned out, but they don't really help much. They really don't. They actually act like you're aggravating them every time you call, or you present yourself over there as a department. And her case fell into so many hands. And I'm like, why do you have my daughter's case now? Oh, he retired. Oh, didn't even have the courtesy to call me and say, Mr. Rosario, I'm retiring, so I'm handing your case to another investigator. They would just, nobody's on it right now because the person had retired or the person got promoted.
Wow.
Because it was a female, I had a female police officer. I mean, it's just, oh, we did this, we did that, we didn't find anything. I'm like, really? Okay. I told them to question the father. They told me that they did. Because I used to suspect from him a lot,
The biological father? Her biological father?
Yeah. Because he never really came forward to help. I find it so strange. And that, you wouldn't want to assist in her search. Then I guess when he went to this, actually I was asking I have a caseworker at the National Centers. And I gave him his information, and he helped us with some pictures of Yesenia. And I guess it kept pressing him, and he became a little interested and found himself that detective that I sent you his name, Alvarez. And he said he would help, and he was all gung ho. But I think he was looking more for exposure than anything else. He wasn't looking to, he wanted to be. He's a retired police officer himself. And I think he was looking more for exposure than anything else. And he didn't really help much. I flew a couple of times to Florida to do the interviews and do the television thing, to do it nationally, and so the Latino community can know. Her missing picture came out on the Miami Herald. They have a section in the Miami Herald where they post the pictures.
Okay.
And then I wanted her face to be on the wall that they have in Walmart, and the police officers, they will not work with me. They would tell me, oh no, FBI has to take notice of that. I said, why does FBI have to take notice of that, to place a missing picture of a person? You look at all the missing children.
Right.
That wall is full, and why can't my daughter be there? Oh, the FBI is not going to take an interest in your case. Wow. This is what you deal with. Yes. And when they did it, and when they wanted a DNA sample, they lost the first sample. They lost it.
Wow.
It's just very careless. And then I had to do it again. And, it's just crazy. And then to make sure that it wasn't lost, since I was already here in New York the second time around, I did it from the precinct to them. So I went to my local precinct here, and I told the police officer, so you'll do it and you send it to them, to see if they're going to say that they lost it. So, that's how they were able to get the DNA samples into the records. And my ex-husband actually showed up at at the headquarters over there at the Hollywood Police Department to submit his DNA samples as well. At the last minute, let me see, I would say 2018, around there, he was like trying to make it look like he was helping and going over there, but then he's not constant. He's not constant in her search. And if he were to speak to the national census, they only know of me. I'm the only one actually doing all the work, and I having contact with the Florida, the state, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FCLE, in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To the point that the person who was there, she retired, and she was very helpful, and she retired, and my daughter's case was transferred to another detective there. But not everybody is goes into their position like really interested in doing or enjoying what, you can tell when somebody really wants to help you. And she wasn't really wanting to. It was always hard to get her on the phone, or if what happened during the national census. They usually have like a yearly thing for missing children, and just to get her to do something, it was just crazy. So I stopped calling them. I stopped dealing with the Hollywood Police Department. The Hollywood Police Department also aggravated the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so where was I?
You said that the Hollywood police was aggravating the Florida.
Yeah, they did. They wouldn't work with her, and I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you guys like above them? And she says, I think they're upset that you decided to go over their head and go to the state. And I said, well, yeah, because they weren't helping me. So what am I supposed to do? Every time I call, oh, we don't have anything new. Oh, no new information. And then I remember I write everything down, like the names of the officers. He said they considered this a cold case. Just like that.
Well, how long after, like how long into, how much time into it did they consider it a cold case?
Okay, so 2015.
So like 5 years.
2015, 2016. Let me see. I save everything on my phone. Hold on. The Department of Hollywood Police Department. Hollywood Police Department. Okay. So I dealt with a Devlin, a Hetzel, a Sanchez, Tomas Sanchez. He was the chief of police there. It was also very difficult to get a hold of him. He was never available. I only spoke to his receptionist. Yeah, Jessica. That was his receptionist. Lieutenant Devlin. Ferrero. Let me see. Hold on. Detective Del Foray. And we had a Sergeant Bean, and he was very condescending. Yeah, it was in 2015. 2015, like late 2015. And I said, well, no, my daughter's not going to become a statistic. I'm sorry. But I never let them know that I went to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in Tallahassee. But they knew. Yeah. And she would call, and she said, my God, to get anything out of them is like waiting. It was always driving, or she would leave messages, and nobody would answer her back. So, it'll take like a while before she can get through, and a while before she can get any information. Now in technology, you will request something, it's immediately sent via, via the web. Yeah, things like that. So this is, the police officer that I befriended, these guys, and they would go there and they have their little coffee and stuff. He was telling me, if I belonged to the Hollywood Police Department, I could probably ask you for everything. I sent him pictures and everything, but I can't do anything because I'm from North Miami Beach. So he couldn't do anything. But he told me all the stuff that's happening, especially Hollywood. Oh, one person had told us, he is a friend. They went to school together, North Miami Beach High School. And he said that one of his church followers, when he was talking about his friend, how he is just, every time the date of her birthday comes around and he knows she's been missing, as if you only, he starts talking about her, because my daughter, not because she's my daughter, he's very kind, she's very loved.
Right.
He says, I'm worried because it's been now 7 years or 8 years and they haven't heard anything. I call her mom or I text her mom so often to see if there's anything and nothing. And then she said, let me see her picture, because she preaches in the street, she's in the church. So let me see her picture. And then she goes, her picture looks familiar. But the thing is, if I'm going to tell you this is what he told me. If this is the person that I think I saw, she looked like somebody had beaten her up, and this big dude with her, and she looked like she was drugged up.
Wow.
When he said that to me, that's when her dad said, okay, since I'm here in Miramar, give me the name of that girl, that and her Yesenia's friend. And they went to these places to see that they saw her in front of a place called the Pussycat Club, but it's closed down since then.
Oh, Pussycat Club.
And she looked like she was. The guy had like a hold on her on the, like jerking her. And I said, really? You would think that the police officers will like go all over these places with all these girls that are missing. So he took it upon himself to pay this girl some money or whatever to take where they saw her, and it's closed. The place is closed. Closed down. Went out of business, something like that. And I'm like, really? But don't they get paid? He goes, sometimes what they do, they just give them cash and they don't have them like on depending on who's doing the transaction. So I want to put that out there too. So that they use them for, they use them for those things to exploit them.
Yeah, the recent.
They do it with boys too. They drug them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do that with boys, not just the girls.
Oh,
So he was telling me all kinds of stuff. Then when she told me this, and I communicated this to the national centers. He told me, okay, this is what they're doing. This is what they do with these girls. And if they found out that she's being looked for, they're gonna grab her and take her elsewhere. The only description we got of the guy was he was huge, like, over 6-something feet and like huge, huge, big guy.
Wow. Yeah, the Miami bust recently to the one person that they were saying she was human trafficked. They said that she was being kept there and being forced to do things, and they would take all the money, and they just gave her drugs. They kept her like on crack or something, and that's all they would give her.
Yeah.
And they had guns and everything. So
that's why he told me. Big guns. It's a big what he said, a big underworld. I forgot what he said. Underground. I forgot what he said. It's a police officer still there. I think I have his email. I tell you, I save all the emails. Doesn't matter how old it is. I save everything because people tend to have amnesia.
Right.
Yes, I tend to save everything, especially, if I've shared anything with them and I had to share pictures.
Right.
Of this, and that's in my email somewhere, but it's like so far back, I would have to look for it, but it's there.
Okay. Noemi, she disappeared. She went missing on February 11th, I believe.
That's recent. That's
Yeah. So that's kind of what got everybody looking at all these different stories now, and other women that have gone missing, and
And
girls.
police, they don't do anything. Hollywood, I mean,
All right, Janie. Well, stay in touch.
Thank you.
Reach out to me. Yeah, if when you come down, if you need anything to, let me know, because I'm close by. You know, if you need me to show you a place or something. You know, I've been here in a long time. But yeah, stay in touch. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank
Take
you
care.
so much. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.